Good afternoon, the evaluation community and everyone. Welcome to our graduation season event today. We are truly honored to be here to present our presentations, and our group consists of Devi, Thanh Tuyền, Ngô Nghề, Anh Thư, and me, Trọng Khang. Under the supervision of Ms. Lê Cảnh Đức Thơ, we would like to thank our supervisor and the community to give us this opportunity. And now we would like to begin our presentation with Anh Thư.
Welcome to our presentation on the topic Factor Affecting the Business Performance of Seafood Enterprise in Vietnam. This is my good member. Our presentation consists of 5 chapters. Chapter 1, Introduction. Chapter 2, Literature Review. Chapter 3, Methodology. Chapter 4, Finance, and Chapter 5, Conclusion and Recommendation. Now I will talk about. Let's begin. Chapter 1, Introduction. Starting and research background to provide an overview of current situation, Vietnam seafood industries and challenges it faces. Vietnam seafood industry is an important part of the national economy. It helps in regional people and cultural areas and support rural development. However, the business performance of seafood enterprise is still not stable because many challenges such as global competition, climate change, and the effect of COVID-19 pandemic. This change export revenue during the past 3 years showed instability. In 2021, export revenue was $8.89 billion, up 5.7% from the year before. In 2022, export revenue went up strongly $11 billion, around up 33.8%. But in 2023, export revenue fell to $9.2 billion, a drop of 19%. This change showed that seafood commonly need to better understand the factors that affect their performance, so they can improve their competitiveness and grow in a sustainable way. The EBFK has revenue opportunity by the tariff and recent statement routine and trying to upgrade their operation. Therefore, this study are assessing both financial and non-financial factors to support sustainable growth of Vietnam seafood industries. After that, I will present research objective with two main parts. Now I will talk about overall objective. It identifies main drivers of performance, evaluate their impact, and propose solutions to improve efficiency, boost competitiveness, and support sustainable development in the dynamic market. The following part outline the basic objective. Objective 1, analyzing the business performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam through financial indicators, return on assets, return on equity, and return on sales. Objective 2, identify factors affecting business performance and measure the level of these effects. Objective 3, proposing practical solutions to enhance business performance of seafood enterprise in the context of intense competition and market fluctuation. The next part, this session in research question will be the same by weekend.
Then the basic objective, next we will present the research question. Question 1, what's the current business performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam? Question 2, what factors affect the business performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam? Question 3, how are they loosely factors relate to the business performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam? Question 4, what measures should enterprise take to improve their business performance in a highly competitive in the seafood industry? And after that, this session, I will talk about the research scope. The study focus on analyzing factors affecting the business performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam. Specifically, to list on the opinion stock exchange and our stock exchange and on the public company market. The research period from 2018 to 2024 answer currency and comprehensive production to economic development during this time frame. And this is passage from the we were writing 5 chapters. And as about the chapter 2 literature review, I would like to invite Trọng Khang present.
And now we will present chapter 2 literature reviews, starting with key concepts and definition, and the first section a business performance of enterprises. Business performance reflects the firm ability to use resources to achieve goals And these indicators, including return on asset, return on equity, and return on sales, essentially show the profitability, the operating efficiency, and cost control, especially for the seafood industry, where the input cost chain often and the profit margin usually low, and so it's playing an important role in helping companies to manage their ability to adapt to market conditions. And this is the formula of three indicators that we use in this study. And about the situation of Vietnamese enterprises during the year from 2020 to 2022, many Vietnamese businesses has a very hard time because of COVID-19, high inflation, and many problems in the world economy. In 2021, we have 119.8 thousand new companies had to stop working. It is the highest number in 10 years. And in 2022, when the economy starts to get better, many people open business again. But we still have 143 plus 2,000 business had to stop working, and this is increasing to about 38.8% than 2021. And this shows that many Vietnamese business they were not strong and stable enough to survive, and they need more support to develop stronger. And about the characteristics of Vietnamese seafood industry, I would like to invite Quốc Em to present.
The next part of characteristics of Vietnam seafood industry. Let's begin with a shorter capture to our culture visa workshop in Vietnam from 2004 to 2023. From 2004 to 2023, Vietnam seafood production shifted strongly from capture to our culture. Our culture rose from 1.22 to 5.5 billion tons, nearly 60% of output, while capture modestly. The shipping rival from capture result and greater chance and advantage intensive high-tech company for import markets. About the Vietnam seafood import value and growing from 2004 to 2023. Vietnam seafood import increased 2.4 billion in 2004 to 10.9 billion in 2022, but saw major drop in 2008 to 2009, 2014 to 2015, and 2023 due to currency volatility and weak demand. And more on Vietnam seafood import market structure in 2024. In 2024, among the top market, China and Hong Kong, United States, and Japan to remain the largest importer of Vietnam seafood in 2024, as contributing significant to total export markets. As the other country, another important market for Vietnam seafood. And lastly, Vietnam seafood import product structure in 2024. In 2024, Vietnam seafood import structure was less by springback at 39%, driven by high value and demand in the EU, US, and Japan, followed by the baggage at 20%, loss scale farming and cost advantage. And other seafood products at 22%, reducing tower diversification. And as a value review of part study, I would like to invite John Ken present.
And now we present the reviews of past study. Many previous studies have considered how financial factor and macroeconomic factor can affect on positive performance. Firstly, back in 2022, they studied 20 seafood enterprise from 2016 to 2020. And they found that capital structure have a negative effect on return on asset and return on equity, while firm size and short-term liquidity have a positive effect. And secondly, about the headwind 2025, they also show that the size and revenue growth can have improved business performance, and they highlight that liquidity play an Usually, return on asset and return on equity to measure business performance, but return on sales is another very important indicator for business, especially for the seafood industry, but it hasn't been studied much. And secondly, about the lack of integrated model between financial factor and macroeconomic factor. Most existing studies analyze the financial factor and macroeconomic factors separately, and this leading to one-side views and ignores fully the complex effects on business performance. Now, lastly, about the data elimination. Many research still use the data before 2020, and they haven't improved the new situation like the implement of free trade agreement like in the FTA from 2018 to 2024, and about the framework and hypothesis used in this study. I would like to invite you to present.
I will continue to talk about theoretical framework and hypothesis about factors affecting business performance. On the variable, except for literary and election, are expected to have a positive impact on business performance. Now let's start with the first variable within the enterprise. That is public. Companies often have more experience and better financial control, which can improve the stability. This is the formula for calculating the enterprise. Moving on the second variable, enterprise fund, company benefit from size in market share, cost control and resourcing, leading to higher profit and work efficiency. The third variable is liquidity. Company with good liquidity ensure stable cash flow and reduce the risk of insolvency. Next is leverage. This is the first variable expected to have a negative impact. Well-managed leverage can reduce taxes. However, in difficult business conditions, high leverage increase interest expense and the risk of insolvency. This is the formula for calculating financial leverage. And capital structure will be the fifth variable. Using short-term and long-term debt wisely can reduce capital costs and improve how the company uses assets. Due to the loan tree indicator. Following that is fixed asset structure. It's the level of long-term investment. Fixed assets have been scaling long, improving productivity and increasing business value. This is the formula for calculating fixed asset structure. We also consider revenue growth. It shows the ability to attract investment, expand market, use resources efficiency, and benefit from trade agreement. On the macro variable, we have just the mandate product. CDP shows the development of the economy and business environment. When CDP grows steadily, companies can expand production, access credit more easily, and benefit from consumer confidence. Another macro variable is inflation rate. This is the second variable expected to have a negative impact. Inflation must rises price and money loses value. When inflation rises, input costs and raw material, wages, and interest rate will pressure, especially for a company with low margin and import independent. And the last variable is European Union Vietnam Free Trade Agreement. The FTA offers export opportunity to lower topic. However, non-topic areas such as traceability and the IUU yellow card still challenging. The research model shows the link between internal financial factor, macroeconomic variable, and business performance, forming the basis for method, data, and testing in the next session. I would like to invite working to continue about research design.
The final chapter, I would like to talk about the research design. From 9 to August in 2025, the research will be carried out in main steps. Step 1, define the research problem, objective, and research question. Step 2, literature review. Step 3, develop this the framework. Step 4, identify the method and type data. Step 5, data collection. Step 6, data analysis. And step 7, main finding and discussion and sharing insight and solution. And lastly, step 8, research recommendation. And about the chapter 3, methodology and data, I would like to invite Captain to present.
And I will present about methodology and data. Firstly, overview about research methodology. Paper data is applied in this study. It's comprised of time series and cross-sectional data. FGLS, feasible generalized where you can apply FGLS if the model of any diagnostic. And I will show you in detail at the following part. In this part, I will present some regression diagnostic for data model, as including multicollinearity, heterogeneity, and autocorrelations. Firstly, about multicollinearity, it can be checked by variant inflation factor test, and if the VIF indicator greater than 10, it presents serial multicollinearity. And in this case, we can remove the variable, compile them, or change the data. And about heterogeneity, heterogeneity can be checked by the modified word test for RAM and the LF test for OLS and RAM. And if p-values of these tests less than 5%, it presents a heterogeneity, and in this case, we can use the FGUS or procrastinator to fix the problem. And lastly, about autocorrelation. Autocorrelation can be checked by the word test for both of them and RAM, and if the p-value less than 5%, it presents a first-order autocorrelation. And in this case, we can also use FGUS and procrastinator. And about the data used for this study. The data used in this study come from 31 civil enterprises list on Hanoi Stock Exchange, or Human Stock Exchange, and a list public company market from 2018 to 2024 with 317 observations. And the data come from the audited financial statements. And after cleaning the data, only a company with full information will be retained. And the analysis was done in Stata version 17. And we're using the multiple linear regression to analyze the relationship between the variable. And this is a sample of audited financial statements that we use for data collection. And this is three regression equations in detail for three dependent variables. And about the main findings of our research, I would like to invite Patrick to present.
Now let's move on to the form, which focuses on key evidence of the study. First, I would like to talk about descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics provide an essential overview of the data sets and penetrate so in later stages. And then talk about descriptive statistics of independent variable in the research model. Descriptive statistics table show the difference among simple interline in terms of size, geometry, and width level among analysis variable. Some clusters show very high volatility, especially revenue growth and financial leverage. So let's start with revenue growth. The average is 7.41%, but volatility is extremely high, ranges from -96.86% to 700.14%. This shows that business performance is very unstable due to market changes, logistic cost, and global trade. And for financial leverage, the average is 3.12, ranges from 0.03 to 132.45. This means it arrives to very deep geometry. Tomorrow I'd like to go fast when I will do this carefully. And for A, the average is 31.65 from 11 to 65. This shows that the ideal company that are more legible and other ones with more experience and stronger in the market. And the last one about size. The average is 13.52, ranges from 9.2 to 16.9. This indicates that small deficit could interline and medium to large scale with variation understandable. In summary, the remaining variable generally still reasonable without any extreme outliers, although they are critically dominant in descriptive analysis. They stay on important rule in the regression analysis present in the following chapter. So next is back and right and to present dependent variable. Based on the predictive statistics of the dependent variable using the research model, the first return on asset where the descriptive statistic return on asset average -0.169. So when many firms struggle to generate profit from assets, but the rate grow -10.49 to 1.739, mainly due to rising cost with export demand and poor financial management. And second, return on equity. Looking at equity performance, return on equity is positive at 0.171, indicating many firms can profit from equity. The one when grow minus 2.77 to 6.625. Related difference in capital efficient, fixing the rule of financial management and cost control. And the last, return on sale. In terms of sale profitability, return on sale average minus 0.173. Meaning that if full fail to turn revenue into profit, the law of variation minus 0.974 to 1.922. So inefficient in the cost structure and with high competition, input cost and market volatility. In conclusion, descriptive analysis highlighting major show inefficient in the financial structure, raw capacity and profitability among seafood firms 2018 to 2024 most rely heavily on short-term debt, increased liquidity risk, GDP and inflation remain stable. EVFTA signed a new export opportunity, return on assets and return on sale are general low, but return on equity is positive, relate in even performance, defining from the basis for deeper regression analysis. Let's move on to Henry will present the next session. Next area present the trend of key indicator, return on asset, return on equity, and return on sale of four major companies during period 2018 to 2024. Among 31 latest seafood literary utility for company lifting exposures such as MBC, VXC, NGF, and CNS based on 2024 list by Ministry of Industry and Trade Investment. They are stock company in the industries with similar ratio and growth, asset yield and return on equity during low chain growth. Let's start with revenue growth. Let's start with NBC. When seafood corporations were stable from 2018 to 2022, but in 2023, return on asset, return on equity, and return on sales were negative from high cost, COVID-19, and COVID-19. In 2024, they stay negative, so the company had not recovered. And next, we see Vĩnh Hoàng Corporation, the one line is back in 2018 to 2019. Both were in 2020 when return on asset, return on equity, and return on sales dropped a loss. In 2024, if we recover a little, but performance was still not stable. Moving to AGF, and then this the import and export stock company was lowest in 2019 with or negative, especially return on equity. In 2020, return on equity jumped, but return on asset, return on sales stay negative. Later, we show were more stable but still low. And the last one about GMS Chemical GSC. In 2018, had the best performance with high return on asset, return on sales, especially return on equity. From 2019 to 2024, with drops and stable, showing along this line that they recover. So next time, invite Dr. to present the recession ratio.
And now we present the analysis of factor affecting business performance. Firstly, we need to select the appropriate model for 3 indicators and taking the result for selecting appropriate model. And after these steps, we decided to use the two OLS with progress scenario for both the return on assets and return on equity, and using the fixed effect model with progress scenario for return on sales. And now move on to the regression result for 3 indicators. It reflects the factor affecting on business performance of seafood enterprise. And now focus on the first indicator, return on asset. Looking at financial leverage, it is not for a negative effect on return on asset with coefficient about minus 0.07 and high statistical significance with p-value equal 0. And this shows that higher debt can reduce the business performance of seafood enterprise, especially for the seafood industry. With high interest costs and market rate and economic abundance, and it supports the hypothesis number 4. It says that it shows the debt management calculates, and in contrast, looking at the GDP growth, however, it has a positive and significant impact on return on assets, with coefficient about 0.019 and p-value at 0.002, and it supports the hypothesis number 8. It shows that the stable economy can have business performance increase by improving the access to capital and creating a better business condition for positive effect and significant impact on return on assets with coefficients about 0.035 and it supports the hypothesis number 2. This says that the larger super enterprise tend to perform better in financial, maybe because they can benefit from the economy of scale and about the last variable revenue growth. However, it has a negative effect on return on assets with coefficients about minus 0.002 and it's reject the hypothesis number 7 and it says that sales growth without cost control and deficit in excess yield is leading to lower profitability of the food enterprise and about the regression result for return on equity. I would like to invite David to present.
I will present detail of factor affecting return on equity. The regression result for CF2 sometimes led to equity. It had a negative and highly significant effect at the 1% level, not supporting hypothesis 5. However, sometimes that restrict and conservative alongside possible progression. Similarly, CF3 long-term debt to total assets. It had a negative and significant effect at the 5% level, again not supporting hypothesis 5. Insufficient yield of long-term debt can lower asset efficiency and increase financial risk. On the other hand, CF1 long-term debt to equity it had a positive and significant effect at the 5% level, supporting hypothesis 5. Good yield of long-term debt has expanded purchasing export and improved overall performance. Turning to the leverage, it had a negative and significant effect at the 5% level, supporting hypothesis 4. High leverage reduced the risk stability in the seafood industry with low margin and unstable cash flow. Moving on to liquidity, it had a negative and significant effect at the 5% level, contradicting hypothesis 3. In the seafood industry, holding too much cash and inventory causes capital and reduced profit. Regarding revenue growth, it had a positive and significant effect at the 5% level, supporting hypothesis 7. High revenue help you capital better, with good supply control, stable export contract, and high value purchasing. Meanwhile, in FTA, it had a negative effect at the 10% level, opposite to the hypothesis 10. This is due to high compliance costs, COVID-19 impact, and strict EU standard. And the last part of chapter 4 is about factor affecting return on sale. I would like to invite you to continue. Next, I will discuss factor affecting return on sale. Regarding liquidity, its possibility is definitely effect return on sale with coefficient equal 0.036 with PBL less than 5%. Having forming short-term risk is a short-term margin supporting hypothesis 4 and install of financial leverage. Its negatively affect return on sale with coefficient equals minus 0.02 with PBL less than 5%. It indicates that having has ideal profitability through interest burden and financial risk, supporting hypothesis 4, and with respect to future essential draw, its negatively affect return on sale with coefficient equals minus 0.787 with PBL less than 5%. A high physical investment can take profits because of the realization and maintenance costs, confirming hypothesis 6. And assuming growth century revenue growth is negatively affect return on sale with coefficient equals minus 0.005 with PBL less than 5%. Meaning sales growth with the cost control maintain profitability, rejecting hypothesis 7. And the last one about GDP is positively affect return on sale with coefficient equals 0.003 with PBL less than 10%. Improving demand and export performance, supporting hypothesis 8, and conclusion, the relation ratio shows that business performance of seafood enterprise is affected by many internal and economic factors. The impact is different for each indicator: return on assets, return on equity, and return on sale. Nowadays are important for making recommendations in chapter 5 to help improve business performance in today's changing and challenging environment. So next, let's invite go into the chapter 5.
The final passage, chapter 5, conclusion and recommendation. About conclusion, I would like to talk about the key finding. Research that financial leverage has negative impact return on asset, return on sale, and return on annuity, indicating that high debt significant reduced efficiency, low margin, high risk inventory, and revenue growth also negative impact return on asset and return on sale, suggesting that sale cost without cost control does not improve profitability. In contrast, coincide and GDP health positive factor leverage back cost and stable macroeconomic environment variables such as liquidity, fixed asset structure, capital structure have no clear impact, and EVFTA has yet to show significant short-term due to combined challenge and COVID-19 impact to its whole long-term potential. And next about recommendation, I would like to invite the present.
After you receive recommendation, consist of three main parts: recommendation for seafood and rice, recommendation for Roman authority, and recommendation for stakeholder and the land. Now I want to talk about recommendation for seafood and rice. First, as efficient asset and control management. Enterprises should improve efficient enterprises should prioritize improve the efficiency of existing assets before expanding scale in order to cater when financial capacity is insufficient. It's necessary to reduce financial leverage ratio, especially on short-term debt, by managing equity and managing capital more effectively. The second, sustainable growth and product development. It's advisable to seek broad export raw material to value processed product, while only combined with cost control. The utilization of EVFTA should be accompanied by long-term investment in traceability system and food chain infrastructure. And the third, digital and AI adoption. Enterprises should promote digital transformation, apply AI operation management, quality control, and data analysis. After that, I will send recommendation for Roman authority. The first, economic stability. Roman should maintain macroeconomic environment, control inflation in order to facilitate production and export activity. The second, long-term credit. Access to long-term credit expand loan packages for the characteristics of the seafood sector, combined with support credit granting fund and SME development fund. And the last, EVFTA support. Through effective credit, EVFTA should be in bring technical support, training, and provide cost subsidy so that enterprises can meet EU standards. After that, I move on to the recommendation for stakeholder and financial institutions. The first, rely lending policy. Credit institutions should rely lending policy to support long-term investment in develop on short-term debt. And the second, bank advisory and supervisor. Bank should act a financial advisor to require enterprise to repair capital usage report. And the last, investor and association support. Stakeholder and investors should monitor commonly financial creativity industry associations movement government agency to provide training on financial lending and internal credit evaluation.
And this is the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attendance. We look forward for your questions and feedback.
Bạn cáo một Đến bạn cáo